Hey guys, so just before the video gets started, I wanted to go ahead and point out ahead of time that at the time of recording this, it's like 11 p.m. and I usually get up for work somewhere between 5:30 and 6 o'clock a.m. and it's the middle of the week, so I've been doing that for a couple of days and yeah, so I'm kind of tired and there's like a letter that I wrote and I'm going to be reading it, but being that it's kind of late and stuff and I haven't spent as much time as I would have liked reviewing it, I apologize ahead of time if it sounds a little weird or if I misstep over a couple of words or whatever, but not a big deal. Just go ahead and I guess pay attention to the big picture stuff, listen to the content, and yeah. Also, I am not the biggest fan of scripts. I mean, I went ahead and I wrote this all down so I didn't forget what I was going to cover. That being said, most of the video is me reading what I wrote. So that being said, it's probably going to be a little more monotone than I would like. A little less from the heart, but you know, I'm not perfect. Just go ahead and bear with me on that. Thanks. The Spartan 5 Program End-of-Preseason Address. This is Brooks, the founder of the Spartan 5 program. A few months ago, I set out to make a program to help some of the community members of my favorite game get better at it. Now, a few Reddit posts, an insane amount of unpaid labor, and a ton of new friends, memories, love, and good times later, I think we've got something special here. Based off of the feedback that I've heard from many of you so far, this has been a pretty good experience in a number of ways. That being said, I'm looking forward to even more great times and positive learning experiences. And while I think we're well on our way to collective and individual greatness, I also like to think that we're just getting started. Yo, I heard that you guys really like feedback, so here's some feedback on your feedback. Some time ago, I asked all of you to fill out a form with program feedback, and I'm taking this opportunity to address that feedback. A wide variety of this feedback was incredibly positive. I love that we get a chance to see other people play and build a sense of community around the games. I've also really enjoyed getting to know a variety of different coaches, who have all been really open with useful advice and are willing to play 8s or matchmaking all the time. Everyone in this program that I've interacted with has been pleasant, helpful, or just generally willing to go the extra mile. Everyone is positive. Even when teams beat us, they never joined our party and put us down. They're always finding at least one thing to compliment us on, and to give us tips. Of course, while I love the positive feedback and sentiments, and cherish your kind words, I'm always looking for opportunities to improve and find ways to make everyone's Spartan 5 program experience better. One of the two main points of feedback was with regard to the difficulty of scheduling and playing program games regularly. With such a wide variety of Spartans in this program, it's understandable that it's challenging to make this happen on a consistent basis without extra planning, attention, or a greater amount of flexibility. Up until now, we've run with the rule that a game will be played as long as 3/4 of the players on each team can make it, and that in such a situation, subs will be utilized. That's been helpful, but hasn't quite provided us with the availability we were hoping to see. More on our next steps to resolving that in a moment. The other main thing that our players have voiced an interest in are in wanting to better prepare and understand the meta for map game type combinations. This wasn't as widespread of an active issue, but it was brought up by a few of you, so I wanted to take the time to address it. I think that part of this issue is stemming from a relatively unorganized practice regimen from a number of teams, which I didn't find this personally to be a real serious issue, as the preseason was intended for warming up to a variety of program dynamics, as much as it was important for seeding and things like that. So, that being said, between the anticipated structure of the first season, better consolidated teams, and a relatively more dedicated coaching staff for every team that we didn't have at the start, I think that we'll begin to see some growth in this space. We're also considering the possibility of some teams holding open practices every 2 or 3 weeks so that the peripheral sublist players and dedicated active program players alike can get closer to doing all of the learning that they can handle. The first season of the Spartan 5 program. So, first season details. You heard it here first. We are going to have two divisions in our first season. In terms of skill, the Alpha Division is a division composed of our upper half teams, and the Bravo Division is our lower half teams. The season will be composed of 4 games for each team, as each team will play all of the other teams in their division once. This is subject to change if we do add 1 or 2 new teams before the start of the season. Once these games are complete, the records will dictate the playoff operations. The top 2 B teams will play one another for the B Division Championship title, as will the A teams for the A Division Championship title. The interesting point here is that the bottom 2 A teams will play one another as well. The team defeated in that matchup will play the B team champions, and if the losing A team loses that match with the winning B team, they will be moved down to the B Division, and the winning B Division champions will take their rightful place in the Alpha Division the following season. I know that could have been worded better, so if you're confused, think Pro League. Scheduling for the games will be done before the start of the season. The coaches of each of the teams will confer with one another using their team's regular weekly availabilities in order to set a clear schedule ahead of time. This will allow our players to plan ahead, make arrangements as needed, prepare better, and will also allow our casting teams to make the proper arrangements ahead of time to best showcase all of your hard work and your team's efforts. In an effort to maximize this process and resolve our scheduling changes, we are also anticipating allocating 1 or 2 subs to each team as 5th and 6th members. They will be expected to practice with the team regularly, as to be prepared to step up for their team when their names are called upon. With the added members, we anticipate being able to get such a schedule set aside ahead of time, and we believe it will be of a huge benefit to our program. Map game type expectations for each match will be set ahead of time as well, allowing our teams to best be prepared and practiced up for each match. We hope that the extra structure will be conducive to regular weekly team practices. Regular season B Division matches will be a best of 3, and regular season A Division matches will be a best of 5. Tiebreakers of the match win-loss record will be decided by the total of their series win-loss totals. Finally, not all subs will have teams associated with them. These subs will be allowed to sub for any team, provided that the skill level is appropriate for the player they are covering for. The anticipated divisions are as follows. In the Alpha Division, we're expecting to see Nerf These Thumbs, 343 Guilty Sparkles, Raiders of the Lost Roach, Baggage Down, and Team Vilify. In the Bravo Division, we're expecting to see Eclipse, formerly known as Alliance, Fury, formerly known as Taskmasters, Kitty Squad, LFG Baby, 4 Meat Pizza, and Aggravated Assault Rifle, formerly known as Leftovers. I'm really looking forward to getting our first season off the ground. EU. Obviously, as difficult as it's been to schedule matches with one another in NA, it'd be proportionately difficult to play with our EU brethren regularly. As such, we've been expecting to keep our main program season NA only. To reiterate, this is not a recent development, but has been the case from the start of the preseason. Recently, I've tasked Mystery with working with the rest of the EU players to find some more interested parties. That way we can also have an EU season with their own teams and coaches. Until then, I hope we continue to try to keep them involved and play with them regularly. If your teams are usually free in the morning or early afternoon on a weekend, I highly encourage trying to set up a scrim with those guys. They're a bunch of awesome guys and are as skilled as they are good people. I genuinely hope that we can get some more people together to get their program experience rolling like ours is going to be shortly. Negativity and toxicity. So, let me preface this by saying that I love the members of our program and the attitude of our community. I have seen so much love, friendship, and fun transpire over the course of our time together, and it brings me happiness on a deep level. With new and old members alike, we must continue to do what we can to maintain this environment that so many of us so greatly appreciate. Toxicity, or the exhibition of poor character, poses the greatest risk to the wonderful dynamic our program has so wonderfully held since its conception. One popular point of contention among players of the community involved turning off toggle crouch and going to town. Yes, I'm talking about teabagging. Teabagging has been a part of Halo's popular culture as long as any of it, and the question has arisen as to whether we're interested in outlawing it in the program. The short answer to that question is a reasonably solid no. The main reason for that is that it's something that will always be a part of the Halo community as long as we can crouch. And once you all have been here long enough, you will graduate from the program and eventually find your way to Frosty, who will inevitably let you have it every time he sees your lifeless corpse, because he's a freak with legitimate psychological issues. Just kidding. Kind of. Also, it's very rarely an intentional personal attack on someone, and in that usual situation, it's not something that should be taken personally. What I will say about teabagging is that it's very important to understand that you can't control what another person feels, through your actions or words or otherwise. If you are interested in maintaining a solid, positive relationship with your fellow program members, you might want to be careful with when you do it and who you do it to. If you teabag someone who is self-conscious about their gameplay and just cost their team in a tough match, you're going to make them feel more shitty than they already felt, and I think that's something we'd all agree is a dick move. I'm now asking you to listen. Whether it's your post-game comments to your teammates after a tough loss, how you talk in the Discord chat, or teabagging, your actions and words have a very real, tangible consequence, and very much have an effect on your relationships with your friends and your teammates. While I'm not going to ban teabagging outright, I'm asking you to please understand that your actions have an effect on those around you, and to act accordingly. That's all I'll say about that for now. My other note about negativity is that if someone is being generally toxic, and you feel comfortable with that person, feel comfortable bringing it up if you feel that you should. If you feel like it's not your place, but that something should be done about it, bring it up to your coach, or myself, and we'll go from there. If someone outright starts talking smack to a point you're uncomfortable with, don't respond to their negativity, as that's just fueling the flame that we're trying to keep from burning. Instead, let me know what's going on, and we'll handle it positively together. Additionally, don't let negative feelings toward other players or coaches sit and bubble up until things boil over. At such a point, everyone's thoughts and feelings are very set, and it makes it very difficult for people to overcome those interpersonal issues once things reach such a place. I've seen a number of situations where a couple of you guys have talked things out and gotten together really well afterwards, and I'm glad to see it. There are a ton of awesome people in this program, and between your great personalities and like-mindedness and wanting to improve as players and teammates, I don't see this being too much of an issue moving forward, as long as each of us are making a conscious effort to be healthy in our day-to-day mindsets and in managing our relationships with one another. So, to close this out, we have a variety of random notes here at the end. One thing is that the deadline for team rebranding and logos is now set to be July 1st. If your team was contemplating a name change, a logo upgrade, or whatever, get it to me by then. 2. If you're going through a busy point in life where you feel that you have to step away from the program or step back from your team, feel free to let your coach or I know it. It's not an inconvenience for us to make a move or two to accommodate your indefinite movement from a team, and it even gives someone a unique chance to step up and be active for your team, a prospect that a lot of our subs are ready for. 3rd, this actually isn't on the script, so I'm going ahead and breaking off a little bit, but just some other things that we talked about the possibility of that I think would be fun to look forward to. We're thinking about setting up one dedicated night a week for the subs who end up, I guess all of the subs, so like a sub night only of like scrims or 8s or whatever. That would give them a unique opportunity that, and I guess some more playtime, being that they don't get and won't get all of the playtime, even if they're 5th and 6th on teams. So be on the lookout for that. Other things that we talked about included the possibility of a free-for-all match in the postseason, or like a free-for-all tournament in the postseason, where we have some of the players play in like a free-for-all type tournament that could be fun. Additionally, an all-star game with maybe 2 players from an A division and 2 players on a B division from the B division being on a team, and then another set like that playing against each other. I think that would be a lot of fun for a postseason thing. Another thing that we have discussed is a full coach team playing against the winner of the preseason tournament. So go ahead and look out for that. We were throwing around the idea of a best a while back for that. So I think that'd be fun. I don't believe that I am missing any of the random notes that I attempted to make mental notes for. Yeah, cool. Finally, if you're struggling with some personal issues that are impacting your personal attitude or interest in playing the game, don't feel like you can't bring that up to us as well. I'm not saying that we have a right to know as your coaches or anything, because frankly, I feel that would be absurd. I am saying that we are people before we are players, and we are friends before we are teammates. And you shouldn't feel uncomfortable expressing your feelings to your friends, who very likely will be willing to help you however they feel that they can, even if it's only just to listen or just to be sensitive to your struggles at the time. For me personally, coaching in Halo isn't about watching my players' shots get better and movement get quicker, although I like to see it. But it's about getting to know my players as people, watching them deal with and persevere through their own personal challenges, both inside and outside of the game, relying on their teammates for help in ways that they never expected to before. I think that that's beautiful, and it's the core of what makes this a fruitful endeavor for myself. And I think that your coaches and your teammates would like to be there for you as well. Whew. Alright, that's enough of that. I'll let you guys think about all this, and we will be having a special edition Spartan 5 program podcast, courtesy of Archer and Gary, where we will be talking about the program, and I will be there to answer and respond to your praises, questions, and concerns regarding the program or other things. If you were really interested in knowing what my usual Chipotle order looks like or what my favorite scent is, this is a prime opportunity to ask that. Look out for details. We're actually tentatively looking at this Saturday night, so I guess look for details about that. Yeah, and I think that's about it. It's time for me to get going to bed. Thank you all again for all of your individual efforts, and I'm looking forward to continuing our bright, bright future together. In the words of one of modern society's greatest minds, T Swift, stay beautiful.